everyone, welcome to Am's Life and Finance. Today we have something a bit different. I'm going to talk about my worst experience in an European city. So I'm from Europe, I'm from Portugal to be more precise. I know what the streets look like because I've been in Lisbon, I've been in Porto, I've been in most places around the country, so I know what some shady neighborhoods look like. We have them in Portugal. I've also been in some places like France where it doesn't look so good. But I have never seen anything that remotely looks like Athens. And really, the downfall of Athens must be studied because they had like the Greek gods and the mythology and all the history and so on and so forth. But today, if you go to Athens, you better get out there quickly, like go to the islands, something like that, another city maybe. I don't know how other inland cities are. I know the islands, they're pretty good, at least the two that I went to. But let's start with the beginning. So the year is 2024, around mid of August. Me and my girlfriend go on a nice vacation to Greece. We had 3 stops. So one of them was Athens, where we stayed for 3 days. The other 2 were 2 islands. One was Santorini, of course, the beautiful island everybody knows about. It's not that great. It's also not that bad, honestly. I didn't go to the touristy parts of Santorini, and I think I did a great choice. I have some cool stories. I'll leave that for later, not for this video, because this video is about downsides. And oh boy, there are plenty. The other island that I went with my girlfriend was Milos, which is another great island. In my opinion, it's incredible. I absolutely loved that island, but we're talking about the capital city, Athens, and how the hell can you go from Greek gods to what I saw? Because it's like, I'm traumatized for life. So let's start with the first day. We arrived pretty late, like 1 a.m. The flight was late, and also it was already late, so it got delayed even. And when we arrived, we were like on a plane, a smaller plane, like those that have 2 seats on each side and not 3. It was from Serbia. We had a layover there, and oh boy, we started looking at the views from the top, like, as always, you always like to do that. I mean, there are some emblematic cities like Barcelona. When you do that, you see like a beautiful order of all like the streets organized and stuff like that. Athens was a bit different. So I saw some like, oh look, these are some lights. We're like that, and then we realized that was a wildfire. Yeah, that didn't sound great. I mean, I'm used to seeing wildfires because we also have them in Portugal, but what I saw that night was nothing short of spectacular, to say the least. I mean, one thing, I gotta give it to the Greek guys, they look more organized than in Portugal in terms of the protection of their civilians, in terms of fires. So yeah, but what did I see? So there was a wildfire. It was not that far off from the airport, and on the first night we stayed near the airport because it was already pretty late, so the plan was already to stay near the airport, then the next morning you just go to the city center and enjoy. But yeah, so there was this lady who has shown us the apartment we were staying. It was like an apartment. It was a really nice place. I gotta admit, it was one of the best places that I've stayed at for the price. Actually, Greece is quite cheap of a country, so especially Athens, and you'll see why in a second, I guess. And yeah, we were like, oh look, smells a bit like smoke, you know, are the wildfires nearby and so on. How can we check it online? And yeah, actually Google Maps was a great resource for that. So we could see like on the map where the fires were more or less going, and more or less around 2 a.m. we weren't asleep yet because we arrived late. We start getting like the alarms that you usually get when you need to get out of there. Like, in Portugal, I never received those. We have like a text messaging system from like the 1900s, which works like shit and already killed above 60 people. And a fire that happened like in 2019, something like that. It was atrocious, really disgraceful fire. And basically what happened, some people got stuck on the highway and yeah, they couldn't get out, so they were just burned. It was really awful. But again, this is about Greece. Let me not get off topic because we got a lot to talk about. And yeah, 2 a.m. we get like the bomb. I don't know if you ever heard that alarm, but like it's really, really scary. Like we didn't get it at the same time because my phone was a bit better at the time. My girlfriend had like a iPhone 9, I think, or 10. It was really awful. I don't know about iPhones, so don't quote me on that. I just know that it was like really, really awful as a phone. It was like in its last years of life, maybe, if you want to call it that way. But yeah, we got the alarm. First time I saw it, there was like a text in Greek, which is not the same alphabet as Cyrillic. I think it's the correct name. I'm not sure if it's Cyrillic. I think so, but no, it's not. Isn't Cyrillic like what you have in Serbia, Russia, and all that? Okay. I'll Google that later. Maybe it's some homework for you guys. What is the Greek alphabet? Yeah, good. But yeah, there was also text in English. We start reading. Look, if you're in the Marathon area, which is like close to the airport, get the fuck out of there. You're in danger. And we were like, way scared, yeah, because it's like first night in a country that you've never been in, and you see like that alarm. I start texting like the lady, look, we're getting this, should we be worried? And she's like, no, it's far from you, you're good. And I was like, okay. We ended up going to sleep, like still a bit, like it's not like we could sleep very well because, well, first it smelled a lot like smoke, and the second, like we didn't feel like completely safe, even if the lady said so. And yeah, I mean, we know what wildfires look like because we have them here, and the weather was just like hot, very, very windy. So it was just perfect for like it was just the perfect storm for wildfires. And the day before, we already had seen some news that you could see like the smoke, a smoke cloud in the center of the city. We arrived a bit later than when those pictures were taken, maybe like a day. But it was like probably the worst night of the wildfires. Then, how do we wake up? Remember, my girlfriend's phone is a bit slow, and I had received an alarm like at 3 a.m. and we weren't asleep yet, so it was fine. But because her phone was so slow, it woke us up at 7 a.m. with the same with the same alert, so we would be screwed. But yeah, I was asleep. I said the biggest curse of my life, like fuck. It was like a very loud curse from myself. I got really scared about that, but yeah, we woke up like normal. I watched the Greek television. It was a very strange experience because it was like, it's a bit strange. I don't know how to tell it. It's like they're yelling at each other. And, you know, Portuguese people talk loud, but that was on a whole new level. I don't know if it was because I don't really know what they're saying, but damn. But yeah, we call a cab, we go to the city center, and that's when things start to get a bit rougher. So we booked a nice hotel. It was alright. It was a bit dated, but it was nothing like, I mean, it wasn't luxurious or anything, but it was also not bad. It was okay. On the inside. On the outside, first street we look, it looks a bit grim, like a bit, you know, not exactly the nicest place to be in, but also not very shady. But yeah, we just decide we'll go to the city center, maybe we'll walk a bit. We start walking, we don't really feel comfortable walking. It looks like the city's like in a falling apart, like lots of trash everywhere. The town looks a bit ugly, to be honest, in that part at least. So we just take a cab. Easy choice. They have Uber. You use taxis, not actual people driving Ubers, but it works all right. So we just go to the center, and man, first off, lots of confusion, like as with every city center everywhere. That's all right. But we look, there's like some homeless people, which okay, we see that too, no problem. Problem is when we start looking and there's like a guy with a needle, you know, just in his lying down with the needle on the city center. Not something you wanna see. But okay, vaccination is good and all that. No, it was not vaccination. I think you know what I'm talking about. There's drugs, my friend. Okay, this was like the first episode with them. We had some episodes later. But yeah, we look at that. Okay, I was like, yeah, I didn't like seeing that. It was really ugly to see. And I honestly have never seen people doing that, so it was a bit strange. But yeah, we pull through it. We go through the day, you know. Starts to get a bit nighty, like we see the attractions, I mean, they're nice. Of course, there are some that have ongoing maintenance, that's fine, I mean, absolutely fine. But then night comes in, we say, well, let's try to walk maybe, and we start walking. Man, I start seeing some, yeah, again, the same kind of trash that I would see, that I had seen in the morning, and I think I see blood at some point on the streets. Like I watch what I see down there, and it looks like there's like some drops of blood in the ground. And I'm like, that's it, I'm calling a cab. And we just go by cab to the hotel again. And next day rolls in, we say, okay, we're feeling brave, let's walk. We start walking, first street, all right, second street. We start seeing some shady people we don't like. We start calling a cab. And while we're doing that, calling the cab, so it's in the Uber app, it takes a while to arrive, we just see like Britney Spears coming towards us. But it's not that Britney Spears, it's the one that's bald. Yeah. And she's walking with a twitchy walk, you know, like twitching the neck, like withdrawals, absolute withdrawals. And walking a bit fast, like in a kind of arrogant vibe, and also doing that twitch with the neck. We had like a trash can near us. She stops there, starts scrambling for things, and keeps walking. And I was like, whew, that was close. And yeah, after that, just cabs everywhere. And there was one specific night after we arrived from the islands, which yeah, was our last day. We stayed at the nicer area, I gotta say. So the thing about Athens, you really gotta choose where you stay. Because like I think we stayed close to the attractions the first time, didn't go that well. The second time we stayed about closer to the track, like how is it called? There's like this Olympic stadium, I think it's the Olympic stadium. It has a name, I'm honestly not remembering, but it was a beautiful Panathinaik stadium, that's it. So we just go there. It was a nicer neighborhood, to be honest. We could walk. And the last night we just go to KFC because we have like this tradition where everywhere we are, if there's a KFC, we gotta go, because there was a time in France where we went and we just had like KFC 2 or 3 times, which I know for France is a bit strange, but we were in a neighborhood that didn't really have much to eat. It was a bit strange. There was like only KFC, so we just kept that as a tradition. And as soon as we dip our feet outside, we say, let's walk. Of course, we gotta always say that, but it was like already completely dark, pitch black, and we see some people, like, they looked like they were fighting, to be honest. There was like some glass on the ground, and we just called it a cab, of course. I mean, what do you expect at this point? Yeah, and that's about my experience with Greece. So, in essence, wildfires, ugly streets sometimes, and drugs everywhere. It was not the best card. To be honest, Athens is like, and I'll tell you this because I told my sister the same. She went to Greece the next year, and I just told her this, like, 2 days in Athens, choose your places wisely, don't spend more than 1 night there if you can, and just go straight to the islands. And this is funny because I have a German friend who told me the exact same, like, he never visited Athens and he went to Greece like 20 times. Crazy. But yeah, I mean, if I had to rate my experience in Athens, it was like a 4 out of 10. For sure. In comparison, the islands were just great. I mean, I had the best of times in both Santorini and Milos. I tried to stay far away from like the main attractions in Santorini. Of course, one of the nights I did actually go to like the highlight of Santorini, which is Ia. It's like in the top of the island. But that's for another day. I don't want to bother you too much with the islands in Greece. I just wanted to show you like what it's like to be in Athens. Because, yeah, I mean, if you want an end reflection, I think it's because of when they had like their bankruptcy, like we had, it was around the same time, but theirs was way more aggressive. Like they had basically their banks, I think at some point if you had more than 10k in the bank, you could forget about it. You stayed with 10k, something like that. And people just went AWire on the capital and destroyed everything. I think they still left some marks of that there. I also saw that before I went there, but I didn't expect to see all of that. And yeah, I mean, I also had the wildfires, which is an extra bonus for bonus points for, you know, being scared and all that. And I think I got traumatized by that alarm, really. I disabled it. I know you shouldn't, but I disabled it on that trip. I was walking on the streets, I would hear the alarm from other phones, and I would just go crazy. Like, I cannot hear that shit again. It was really bad. But yeah, let me know if you had some experience. Especially interested to hear about the guys in Frankfurt, maybe Berlin, because I know you guys have had some strange things on those capitals, those not really capitals. Frankfurt is not a capital, but on those cities. I mean, we get that in many places, but I've never seen something like Greece. So yeah, leave a like and subscribe if you want more, and see ya!